Hey everyone, and welcome to the VitaCast, episode 21. I'm your host, Tyler Oltoff, and with me is Kyle Wakeling.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And we have a special guest here with us, Paul Murphy. How's it going, Paul?
Not bad. Glad to be here.
Good. And also, Yuki, of course, is doing our recording, so we always thank him for sticking in here, listening to us guys talk about stuff.
Thanks, Yuki.
All right, so before we get started, Paul, do you want to talk a bit about like what you do and people that don't know who you are?
Yeah, basically, for those that don't know, I created the Vita Lounge, and after a year and a half and 21 podcasts now, I thought I'd better make an appearance after finally getting people to do it better than me to help run the website, make it a lot better. I thought, the least I could do is turn up and say hello.
And that's all he has to say. See you later, Paul.
That's pretty much all. Yeah, well, I'll see you in another 21 episodes.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's go to a bit about what we've been playing this week. I haven't played too much. Still been busy. I actually just moved out of my apartment, so if you hear a dog barking, it's because I'm at my parents' house now. Yay, living with parents. All I've been playing lately is what is that game? Oh, wow, I just totally forgot what it was. Oh, Tokaden. Been playing a bit of Tokaden. Also been playing some, what is it? Oh, Conception 2, the demo. I beat the demo. That game's awesome. I'm getting it. Kyle, you need to replay that game, because I know you said you didn't like it, but it's amazing.
Garbage, my friend, garbage.
So the people get harder as you play.
I don't know, I played through like 7 battles, and it was one-hit kill every time, and after 7 battles, I was like, that's enough of this crap, and just delete the demo. So.
Yeah, I noticed that at first also. Like, I didn't notice it at first when you, before you told me, but then when you told me, I was like, oh yeah, he's right. And then as I went through it, they started like introducing more features, and that's how it started getting more difficult. Like, they just hand you everything at the beginning, but then they start teaching you things one by one, which made it more entertaining and dynamic. Also, I played some Deception 4 Blood Ties. That game's hilarious. It's all about setting traps and killing people.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, like I didn't know what to expect, and it took me a while to start playing it. Like, I've had it for like a week or so, and I'm just like, nah, I don't know if I want to play it. And then I was bored one day, and I was like, you know what, I'll give it a shot. And it's weird, but it's entertaining. Like, it seems like super serious and everything, which I mean, it is. Like, it has a story and everything, but you run around as this girl and you just drop traps around, and you try to do like combos. Like, you make someone like get their foot stuck in like a bear trap, and then while they're stuck there screaming, you have like a axe swing from the ceiling, knock them back, and while they're flying through the air, you drop a boulder on their face. I'm just like crying, laughing as I'm doing this.
How do you feel it stacks up against Charlie's review? Because obviously Charlie gave it 2.5.
Really?
And he said, although it's not a poor game, it's not sort of like a great addition to the library. He found some bits fun, but overall he found it quite repetitive, and he says, painful, monotonous, and an experience I cannot recommend.
Yeah, I've only played like through the first mission, so I can't give it, a full like take on it. But what I'm playing so far, I do enjoy it. So I'll definitely play some more and report back sometime later.
Because it is always good to have different views, isn't it? Because that's the great thing about having varied opinions in a team. It gives a different take on sort of like what the overall official view is on something. It's good to have different takes.
Right.
It's like Jasper and you guys love Persona 4, and although I recognise it's a great game, I wouldn't say that it's among the Vita's best, because it's not really my style of game. I recognise that it's good, but it's not for everyone. It's good to have that contrast.
Out with you right now. Comes in the podcast, shits all over Persona. That's it. We're done.
Yeah, I've been waiting 21 weeks for this. I'll tell you something about Persona, though. The biggest gripe I have with it is how much of my life it took away, and that's got to be a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that pretty much is. If it can keep your attention long enough to take some of your life away, then it's definitely interesting.
Yeah, I think I put over like 150 hours in that game.
Yeah.
I'm not quite there yet. I think I'm at about 90. I'm partway through my second playthrough, and I've just got way too much to play that right now.
Yep, that's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you what I've been playing. I mean, I've stopped playing Persona for a while because my backlog's just getting too big. But over the last week, I've been playing Dynasty Warriors 8, and I'll have my review for that probably by the end of this week. It's a game that I'm finding quite difficult to gauge because it's very boring and it's very repetitive, but it has that one more go sort of mentality. It's sort of like, each thing only takes you about 10-15 minutes maximum once you've defeated all the enemies and moved on to this area, that area. None of it's very challenging yet, but there's so much to do. That's another thing. It's so daunting how much I've got to do to be able to play, to then try and express that into words. There's 6 different factions, and there's so many missions for each faction, and that's before all the different types of modes. It's like, seriously, there's a lot of content in there. It's just whether I can stay awake to do all that content at the same time over and over.
Yeah, I haven't even started that game. I have it, but I haven't even tried it.
That's probably the best thing I can say about it. That there's so much to do. And it's fun enough while you're playing it. I mean, killing lots and lots of people in one go and using special moves to do it, it's good. It's always fun, right?
Yeah.
But the other thing is, I've been playing Luftbrowsers too much as well, because every time I start something up, I just want to play Luftbrowsers. Just such an amazingly simple game that's just I keep going back to.
Yeah, I've been wanting to buy it, but I've been too lazy.
I mean, anyone that's on the fence about it, seriously, if people might be put off by the looks and what have you, but it's so much fun. It really is. It's worth every penny. You'll just keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. And I think, Vlambeer have got that knack with ridiculous fishing as well. Of it's just so simple and effective, but it's complex at the same time. I mean, trying to get a high score is gaming simplicity, isn't it? And it's just they've got it just right.
Yeah, I loved playing it when I was at PAX Prime in Seattle a while back. Yeah. It was entertaining, so I've really thought about it, but I have way too many games.
But that's a common problem for all of us, isn't it? I mean, I started Fez as well, and I think Fez is pretty special. I'd played it when I went to Eurogamer in September, and I'd played the first level because that's pretty much all they had. But you could see then it was going to be pretty special.
Yeah, which is interesting because at PAX Prime they had Fez as well, and it was actually not very good. Which surprised me that they'd put it on the show floor for everyone to see. Like, it was laggy and just things didn't work right. I was like, oh boy, this is not looking good. But I'm glad to hear that it came out good.
Yeah, no, it's turned out pretty well. I think all round. I mean, the general feedback seems to be pretty good for it across the board, and for the price, and you're getting all 3 versions plus cross buy, cross save. That's one of the games that really shows what you can do. I mean, what is it, $10 in America, and it's £8 for Britain. I mean, that's silly money, and until tomorrow, you still had the PS Plus discount, didn't you? So
yeah, nice.
Which is another good thing they're doing.
Oh yeah,
that's pretty much been my week.
Huh. Sounds like a good week.
Well, I guess it's my turn then. I haven't been playing too much. I've been cleaning up little trophies. I played some Rayman Origins and some Sonic and All-Stars Racing. But other than that, I've pretty much been playing Ragnarok Odyssey Ace, which I'll be reviewing soon. It's so far, I didn't play the original, so I can't speak to what improvements they've made. But as far as looks, it looks pretty decent. It plays pretty decent. The only thing I'm kind of having an issue with right now is that a lot of the enemies seem generic and overused, repetitive, that kind of stuff. But that's kind of, that's what you take with any monster game. So
yeah, just
kind of trudging through it, and hopefully we'll get that review out soon.
Nice.
Yeah, it's interesting as well. I mean, it was a big criticism of the first title, wasn't it? It was one of the first guest reviews that we had on the Vita Lounge. Vitas did our review, and he scored it at the time. We were using a 10 rating, and he scored it 9 out of 10 at the time when IGN gave it 5.5, and it was kind of like panned across the board for just being generic and monotonous. It'd be interesting to see what you think.
Well, so far I'm not generally going to say it's boring and monotonous, but it definitely has a lot of repetitive features, but I think that so far what they're giving you as extra as you play through the levels and stuff like that makes up for the repetitiveness. So we'll see how that comes out in the end.
Yeah.
Nice. Is that all you've been playing?
Pretty much.
Sweet. We need to get playing some more games, Kyle.
Yeah, I know. We still got to start Unit 13.
Yeah.
I'm very much looking forward to Bot Zone coming on Killzone. Hopefully that will be with us very soon. I need to get some more practice in. I mean, we Charlie and Brad and myself, we had a bit of a match a few weeks back, and Brad just kicked our ass. He was seriously, he was just dominating us, and the maps had only been out a couple of days, and it's just like I was still learning the maps because I'd not played the new ones on previous games, and he just knew where I was without me even moving. Typical first-person shooter fare, It's like, how do you know I was there?
Gotta love it.
Tyler's famous for that.
That's what we
playing
need to
against
do.
him, and he just comes out of every corner and kills me, and I'm like, I don't even know what happened.
Spy cameras in your house or something.
I think so.
I won't say anything.
Confirmation.
All right. Well, talking about games and whatnot, Kyle, what do we have for this week?
All right. So as usual, we only know what's coming out in North America beforehand because Europe doesn't do a drop. But we're getting MLB 14 The Show and Ragnarok Odyssey Ace with Tuesday's update. We're also getting a demo for Fez. And we know that there's a sale on The Amazing Spider-Man, which will be $19.99 for PS Plus, and it's originally $39.99, so you're getting that half price.
Nice.
And I recommend it, even though it's not the greatest game. If you're interested in superhero games, that's one of the ones to go for.
Nice.
Other than that, we also have what's coming in April for PlayStation Plus. So in North America, we're getting Stealth Inc., Clone in the Dark, Velocity Ultra, and Pixel Junk Monsters Ultimate HD. And in Europe, we're getting Sly Cooper Thieves in Time, Hotline Miami, and MotoGP 13. So it sounds like a great month for PlayStation Plus.
I have all those games, dang it.
I know, I have most of them too. The only one that I'll be picking up in the North America drop or whatever is Stealth Inc. I don't have that one yet.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to MotoGP.
I would be too if it was coming here, stupid milestone.
Yeah.
They just need a publisher in America, don't they? It's all these titles that are coming out over our side, and they're just waiting to be ported. You guys still haven't got World Rally Championship 4, have you?
No, we got 3 and we got it late, but we haven't got 4. We haven't got MotoGP. I don't think we're getting MXGP. Most of these games from Milestone are just not coming.
It's crazy. Get a publisher. There's plenty of guys in North America that want to buy these games. And they're not bad. They're not bad games. Milestone have done a pretty decent job of getting these games running on the Vita. I mean, they have minor issues here and there, but they race well. And that ultimately you can't ask for more, can you?
Yeah.
No, not really.
They're enjoying it. They do what they say on the tin. It's all good. But perhaps we can help them with that. Push it out a bit more and see if we can pick someone up for them.
Yeah, hopefully. I want to play those games.
Yeah, so if you're listening and you're a publisher or no publisher, get in contact with Milestone.
Perfect. All right, well, let's head on to the news for this week. We don't have too many news stories, but it's been a decent week, so let's get into it. First up is Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth 1 is coming west, but it's not coming by way of the usual channels. In a slightly unusual twist, we've learned that instead of NIS America, the caretakers of Neptunia, who are also publishing Hyperdimension Neptunia PP, Idea Factory International will be the ones to publish Hyperdimension... oh god, this name is way too long for me to figure out sometimes. Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth 1 in North America and Europe. The long name again uses the battle system and disc remake system from Hyperdimension Neptunia Victory, as well as bringing over characters like Tekken and CyberConnect 2 to Neptunia's first story. CompileHeart has also included new event scenes and a new ending for the Vita version, giving those who've played the game a reason to jump back in. Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth 1 is set to release late this summer in the West, so stay tuned for more information. Yay!
That's pretty much just what we were talking about before. We were talking about how, they should add something extra to get people who've played, the other versions to come back. This is a prime example of that, and I applaud them for that.
Nice. All right, next up, Nobunaga's, is that how you say it? Nobunaga's Ambition?
I believe so.
All right. Nobunaga's Ambition creation announced for Vita. Already available in Japan for PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4. Tecmo Koei have announced they're bringing it to the Vita as well. This is a historical strategy game set during the Sengoku Warring period of the Eastern nation's history, which occurred during the 15th and 17th century. The PlayStation Vita version of Nobunaga's Ambition creation will be augmented to support the various unique features of the system. Troops and map operations will be available via touch controls, and you'll be able to register up to 50 pictures from the Vita's camera as military commander face graphics. Nobunaga's Ambition creation is set to release in Japan on May 29th, with the pricing set at 7,800 yen or 77 US dollars for the retail version, and 6,762 yen or 66 US dollars for the digital download. There will be cross-save and other cross-content with the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 versions. So, sweet. Everyone loves strategy games. At least I do.
And I know we don't have enough of them, so that's always good to fill up that catalog.
Yeah. And it's coming to the West as well, so that's always a good thing as well.
Nice. I'll definitely have to look into that one. It looks interesting. All right, next up. What's that?
When you learn how to say it.
Yeah.
You're asking for that in the shop. Can I have that one?
Here, I'll write it down for you.
I'll figure it out someday.
Order it online, then you don't have to talk to anybody.
Exactly. All right, next up, tabletop racing coming to the Vita. The Game Developers Conference is always a hotbed of news, and Pocket Gamer has managed to grab a hands-on with tabletop racing. It was originally developed for iOS and Android as a free-to-play title. The concept in tabletop racing is to race on tabletops. So yeah, this title was well received on mobiles, and in fact, that you will be able to purchase the title rather than grinding for coins will no doubt be music to my ears. Oh yes, I agree with that. I hate free-to-play games with all the coins and just too much paying for stuff I don't want to pay for. I just want to buy the game, have it, and be good. Anyways, I'm rambling right now. But yeah, there's some screenshots here if you want to check it out on the site, and if you've played the iOS or Android version, then you might know what to expect. Except for now we have physical controls. Yay.
It looks very much like the old, when I look at the screenshots, it reminds me an awful lot of Micro Machines and the Micro Machine games back on sort of like the Mega Drive Genesis, back in the 90s. Oh, and that game was pretty awesome. So anyone that's got fond memories of that, they might be well at home.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to take a look at this one, and I can actually pronounce the name.
All right, I think we're moving on here. So next up is Flame Over announced as a Vita exclusive. Laughing Jackal, the developer that brought us Oh My God HD Zombies, has been hard at work on their latest title, which they announced via the PlayStation blog. It's their first 3D title, and it's using the Unity engine. Laughing Jackal is dubbing Flame Over a procedurally generated firefighting twin-stick roguelike. So if that's not a mouthful, I don't know what is. Al, the producer at Laughing Jackal, explains on the PlayStation blog, quote, "Your objective in Flame Over is simple. Just guide your heroic firefighter, Blaze Carruthers, up through the floors of the Infernal Industries building in London, extinguishing all fires and rescuing all the stranded workers and, naturally, their pet cats as you go." I don't know why they're taking pet cats with them, but okay. As you guide Blaze through this maze-like building on your quest to put out the deadly inferno and save the day, you'll move through 4 different zones, each with their own unique features and hazards. On top of its original setting, Flame Over is a game of several firsts for Laughing Jackal. It's their first game created using Unity, which is really great, by the way. Their first game in 3D, and their first ever action game. It's also by far their most ambitious project to date, having been in the works for over a year. So there's some screens here as well, and Laughing Jackal are aiming for a Q3, Q4 release this year, so hopefully it won't be too long for us to wait.
Nice.
Yeah. So moving on, new title Exogenesis, The Perils of Rebirth planned for Vita. Quickfire Games are busy working on Wild Season, but they got in touch with us to tell us about their new project, which will soon be launching on Kickstarter. Exogenesis Perils of Rebirth is a visual novel, something we could do with a few more of on the Vita, and it's an amalgamation of the Ace Attorney and Zero Escape titles, merging character-driven storylines with creative puzzle sections. Decisions made during your day or your playthrough will affect not only how your story will develop, but also character development. It's not just the decisions you make, but also the ones you don't make too, which will affect the final outcome of the game. The Kickstarter isn't live yet, but we'll let you know when it is, and it's planned for a PlayStation Vita release, so we'll keep our close eye on this one.
They're spreading themselves thin.
So hopefully not too thin.
Yeah.
Hopefully the stretch goal won't be too large for it as well. I mean, you're seeing that with a lot of Kickstarters when they're getting in touch with us and they're saying, "Oh yeah, can you promote this? Because we're going to have, we're going on Kickstarter. It's going to be a Vita one." And then you look at the Vita stretch target of £4 million or something. Just like, seriously, are you realistically going to reach that?
That's pretty much like, somebody give us some backdoor funding.
Yeah. I mean, some things, on Kickstarter, they truly do look amazing, they really kick off and they get the funding, your mighty number 9s and things like that. But some things, you're really clutching at straws. You've got an idea and it'll do well, but have a realistic target for us.
Yes, please.
Well, our next title isn't stretching or trying to get anything out of us here. Football Manager Classic 14 releases on April 11th. So Sports Interactive had just revealed through their website that the eagerly awaited Football Manager Classic for the Vita will be finally launching on the 11th of April for European markets. They don't have a date for outside Europe at this time. The first handheld title to use the 3D engine and featuring cross-save with the PC version, it's fair to say they've been excited for this one. So we'll bring you more as we have it, and I'm sure Paul, is raring to play this one.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this since they announced it at Gamescom. It's a shame that it's taken so long for it to be released, but it's almost here. We've got 2 weeks, just less than 2 weeks until we'll be able to get our hands on it, just a month before the football season finishes. But it'll give us something to do over the summer and right a few wrongs from our football season, I'm sure. I know I'm itching to not buy a few players for Tottenham. So, I'll be sorting that out. But yeah, I mean, we'll bring a review as soon as we can. But I've been looking forward to this one for quite some time.
Yeah, hopefully they decide to bring it over to the West or to North America.
I think they do have plans to. They just don't have a date yet.
Yeah, because I'm really into playing soccer, as it's called over here. And I'm tired of playing FIFA because it's just the same thing. And yeah.
I mean, it looks. I mean, they've got the 3D engine. They haven't just done a bodge job and tried to get something out by the looks of it. It's the first handheld title to actually use the engine. And although it's a completely different game to FIFA, because obviously this is management based, it's not. You're not actually controlling the players. It is an alternative, and hopefully EA can see that there is now an alternative, and they will hopefully up their game. But we'll see.
Yeah, because the Vita can definitely handle a much better FIFA if they really tried.
Absolutely. I mean, the FIFA engine itself isn't terrible, but they need to treat us with a bit more respect. At least give us the engine we're running is essentially FIFA, the PlayStation 3 version of FIFA 11. If we can run the PlayStation 3 version of FIFA 11, we can run PlayStation 3 version of FIFA 14.
Yeah,
it's not rocket science.
Well. Yeah, that's EA though, so
yeah, that's
not going to hold my breath for EA. All right, next up in the news, we got X-Blaze Code Embryo Story Branches with Reading. While most games shift the story depending on choices you make in the plot of the game, X-Play's Code Embryo wants none of that. While playing X-Play's Code Embryo, you'll have a little info icon in the top right-hand corner of the screen. If you select this icon, it will pull up something that looks like an RSS feed interface with different articles to choose from. Each post in this feed gives a clear picture of the in-game universe, and just like articles on the net, they even have comments along with them. What you've read from this feed will alter your perception of the world and change the game, the paths branching by information gathering instead of choices you've made in the storyline. X-Play's Code Embryo is set to release this summer in the West, though it'll be released here with English subtitles and Japanese voiceovers, as it's one of the few visual novels which have full lip sync. Full lip sync. So that means they're actually going to follow the voice correctly.
Yeah, they're actually, it looks like they're talking and saying everything for all the lines. They're not just, like Danga and Rampa did. The first little bit of speech is voiced, and then it's all, lip sync is gone.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, so it's nice that they're taking a little bit more time to, put the lip sync in there. It gives it a little bit more
authenticity to
magic.
It.
Right. Yeah. Magic to makes you feel like you're more there as opposed to just reading a story.
Right.
Like all those old dubbed Chinese movies.
All right, next up, To Leave, the first Ecuadorian PSN game. We get some details about a brand new PlayStation Vita game coming from Ecuador, hopefully before Christmas. The gameplay focuses on the player latching onto a door and flying away to escape the rot of reality. Obtaining drive to progress further through levels, you'll have to be careful when nearing walls, though, as making contact with any surface may cause you to lose a large chunk of your progress. There's also a trailer on this if you would like to check it out. After being exposed to a hands-on demonstration of the PC version of the game by the developer Estevano I can't pronounce your last name, I'm sorry. Gabe Carey from B10 was surprised by the game's fluid animation, attractive visuals, and brutal challenges as he failed to make his way through each stage. So sounds like a brutally unforgiving game, though judging by the trailer it could also be a very interesting one. I have to say his last name again. Palacios notes that its development was only made possible because of Sony's Latin American incubation program. Recruiters from Sony's program visited Palacios University, finding themselves so impressed with that they covered the cost of his development kit, which is in turn allowed him to publish the game on PlayStation platforms free of charge. Because of this, Gabe asked if he planned on bringing the game to other console platforms in the future, to which he replied that he doesn't plan on it, strictly out of gratitude towards Sony for their help and not in any forced capacity on Sony's part. The goal is to have the game out by Christmas, but we'll, of course, keep you updated with any news we find out. So keep your eye out on this game. If it sounds interesting, watch the trailer. See if it's something that grabs your attention. That was a deep breath.
Yeah. I need to go and make a phone call quickly, so if you guys carry on without me, alright?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Alright, next up, Jet Car Stunts comes crashing onto Vita. Take a vehicle that is part car, part jet, and all stunt machine and race it through a giant floating track in the sky. Throw in some obstacles to ensure that you crash pretty frequently, and you'll have Jet Car Stunts. Grip Games, along with True Axis and Bit Composer, has announced that they are bringing this popular racer from mobile platforms over to consoles. I need water. Players will control a jet car, the combination of a Formula racing car and a jet plane that lets them perform nearly impossible gravity-defying stunts, like driving through loops, jumping over incredible distances, corkscrew maneuvers, drifting near the edge of a racing track, all of that in supersonic speed. The game will feature improved graphics, new tracks, and new game modes. It will also feature asynchronous multiplayer to let you race against the best players wherever and whenever you like, but that also means you cannot race head-to-head with friends. Lame. Jet Car Stunts is scheduled to fly onto the PlayStation Vita in Q2 of 2014. In the meantime, take a look at this game's trailer if you want, so visit the site and watch this trailer.
Alrighty. Moving on. PlayStation Vita firmware 3.12 now available. So a bug-fixing firmware update has been released to address the issue of 32GB PlayStation Vita memory cards not working after the version 3.10 update. So a tweet went out 2 days ago on quite a few days ago, on March 26th, from the PlayStation Twitter account, teasing a new software update, 3.12, with improved system stability. It ends up that it's actually additionally equipped to fix the 32 gigabyte memory cards going awry. So after the version 3.10 update, we're not exactly sure what the circumstances are, but a bunch of 32 gigabyte memory cards that are PlayStation Vita branded and official were completely locked away from their Vita. So you couldn't boot the Vita, do anything with the Vita with the memory card inside. This update has been issued to fix that, and it's 120 megabytes and can be downloaded now. It's also not a mandatory update, so if you didn't have the issue, you don't have to worry about updating.
Interesting. I have a 32, and it's still alive, so I'm very happy.
Well, it's kind of funny. A lot of people, they were trying to figure out what the circumstances were that kind of screwed it over, and a lot of people couldn't really figure it out. They were posting all different, configurations of their Vita and stuff, and it just kind of turned out that it was a random event on 32 gigabyte memory cards.
Weird.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm going to drop out. My foster daughter's just walked out of the house, and she ain't answering her phone, so I'm going to have to go and deal with that.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, guys.
No worries, man. Good luck.
All right. No worries. I'll speak to you later. All right.
Cheers. Talk to you later.
All right, jumping back.
Yeah.
Next up is Hand of Fate is coming to Vita. So Defiant Development have just announced that their Kickstarter-funded tabletop roguelike deck builder, Hand of Fate, is coming to PlayStation Vita and PlayStation 4. Hand of Fate is a roguelike card game where your cards come to life for 3D battles, brawling it out in real time. Create your own journey by building up a collection of cards, which are then used to deal out the ingredients for a dungeon that's, quote, teeming with enemies, treasure, and adventure, unquote. It's all in the luck of the draw with this one, as your cards... as the cards you pull will shape the entire experience. Here's a little of what makes Hand of Fate unique, courtesy of the PlayStation blog. Quote, being a roguelike, Hand of Fate's strength is its nearly endless combination of cards and ways to play. The deck builder lets you determine a mix of combat, chance, and equipment cards for your deck before you set out on your quest. Equipment selection ramps up replayability as the player is introduced to a slew of artifacts, weapons, and armor that modify gameplay. The player has the freedom to choose their cards, and how and when they're dealt is purely up to the dealer. There's also a couple images here, and no release date has been announced yet, but keep tuned to the Vita Lounge, and we'll obviously let you know when that happens.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested in that. I'm not much of a card game person, but it actually kind of sounds interesting.
Me too. I think the whole 3D battle from the cards aspect sounds pretty interesting, so I'm kind of waiting to see a trailer or something on it before I decide, but the concept definitely sounds different, and I might be interested in it.
Yeah.
Alright, moving on. Mine Zero, available at the end of May. So fear not, visual novel lovers and RPG lovers. Mine Zero makes its way to Western audiences at the end of May. A press release issued by Access Games has officially announced that Mine Zero will be released on May 27th in North America and May 28th in Europe. Both North America and Europe will be getting the game via digital download. However, North Americans will also get a physical release as well. Here's a bit about the game from the press release. Quote, Mine Zero is an action-packed dungeon crawler RPG for the PlayStation Vita system. Play as Kai, a high school student whose life turns upside down when he forms a contract with a mind, a weapon being with deadly powers. With the government and other forces trailing him and his friends, Kai will need to discover the secret behind Mind. Will these newfound powers help him, or will they ultimately be his doom? So control your mind. As you and the rest of your party battle enemies, use your mind to do your bidding, unleashing powerful attacks and defending yourself from harm. Master skills and become even more powerful. It's got dungeon crawling action, so once you enter a dungeon, you will face a treacherous maze of monsters all ready to devour you. Make sure you prepare yourself before you step inside. And discover your mind. Each mind has unique abilities. However, delving deeper into the mystery, you learn the dangers of these powerful monsters. Are these minds a blessing or a curse? End quote. To go along with the announcement of the release dates, they've issued a brand new trailer, so you can check that out on the site, as well as some screenshots. Mind Zero will be priced at $39.99 and is currently available to pre-order. For more information on the game, check out their official website with Access Games. There's a link to that on the site.
I'm definitely going to have to check it out.
Me too. I'm kind of excited.
All right, next up, Over My Dead Body 2, some demon hunting details. We get a closer look at Over My Dead Body 2. Over My Dead Body 2 is set to feature different job classes such as swordsmen, archers, spearmen, and dancers, each of which is uniquely suited to special tasks and weapons. The dungeons are where the demons live, and you should be able to find them near your base of operations. Dungeons will vary by player. Their contents, such as dungeon type, internal structures, layout, and demon types, will be different each time. So there's a few screenshots here if you want to check them out. By winning battles in these dungeons, you'll gain a mix of experience points, dedication points. Dedication points are used for ceremonial inheritance of your offspring with the gods, items, weapons, and armor. At the start of each battle, there will be a war trophy slot machine game where matching 3 of the same items will result in a win, thus netting you the item you've landed on, as well as additional experience and dedication points. And I'm going to kill these dogs. Over My Dead Body 2 will be using the symbol encounter battle system used by many other RPG games. Only running into enemies on the field will initiate a fight, and by sneaking up on them, you'll find yourself in an advantage-ish position to start in an encounter. You see... that's a screenshot. So you'll have to take a look at... There's a lot of screenshots. So you need to visit the site, go to the Over My Dead Body 2 post, and check out all these awesome screenshots we have up on here, and see if it's something that interests you. Alright, next up, One Piece Unlimited World Red gets an extra story arc. Bandai Namco Games has announced that the PlayStation Vita version of this title will have an extra content not currently in the 3DS release. According to an article in Jump magazine, one of the additions Bandai Namco Games will be making to One Piece Unlimited World Red is an additional story arc titled Dressrosa. This new arc features Trafalgar Law as a playable character and Doflamingo as a boss. The battle set inside an area known as Garrido Coliseum. One Piece Unlimited World Red is set to release June 12th in Japan. A Western release is to come sometime later this year. First print copies of the title will also include a redeem code to download an extra costume and quest. So you might want to get those pre-orders in. Alright. Next. Magica Wars Zanbatsu. Details and screens. We got some new information and screenshots for Magica Wars Zanbatsu, a 2.5D action game where you control a girl who takes on monsters. Magica Wars Zanbatsu is an extension of the Magica Wars series, focusing on 47 magical girls that represent the 47 prefectures in Japan. In Zanbatsu, you play as Amana Sagaki, a girl who has lost her memories. A magical girl named Maki Inada realizes that Amani, there's just so many names here, is a magical girl too, and gives her both her name and her missions. Check out these renders featuring a few of the main characters. So there's some screenshots. Completing missions will fill up your heart meter, giving you the chance to meet another magical girl each time you top it off. Each magical girl you meet has their own personality, and you can give them presents to build up your relationship with them, adding a social element to the game as well. So yeah, there's a few screenshots if you want to check them out and see if it's something that interests you. Magica Wars Zanbatsu is a free-to-play free-to-play title on the Japanese PlayStation Network and is available now. So if you have a Japanese account, go check it out.
Aw, yeah.
Aw, yeah.
All right, moving on. Cell Damage HD, single player only on Vita. So more news on Cell Damage HD, the Twisted Metal inspired game from Finish Line Games continues to trickle out, as Nicholas Suprak from Hardcore Gamer recently got up with the team at Finish Line Games to discuss the progress of Cell Damage HD and get a few new pieces of information. So the game is still scheduled to release sometime in the spring of 2014, so pretty soon, but an exact date has not been given. Also, while they have let it be known that the game will be cross-buy and cross-save across PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and Vita, there are still no specifics on price. However, there is a hint that the price could be coming in at true bargain territory levels. That could be exciting, and if priced right, it could sell a lot better than most are anticipating. The big kernel of new information that was discovered has to do with the game's multiplayer. The PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 versions of the game will feature local split-screen multiplayer, but there will be no option for an online mode. The PlayStation Vita, on the other hand, will be getting no multiplayer at all, and will instead have to make do with the game's single-player campaign. Finish Line Games did say that they would possibly go back and add it in if the game sells well enough and the demand is there. Of course, that's just the usual way of being polite and saying that it's likely never to happen.
Hey.
So, yeah, that's not good. But, yeah, you never know. Weirder things have happened.
Yeah.
Moving on. Retail release for One Piece Unlimited World Red. So, One Piece Unlimited World Red from Namco, or Bandai Namco Games, as they're now called, will see a retail release in North America when it goes on sale later this year. Originally planned to release as a digital-only title in American territories, the PlayStation Vita game will be available to buy in both GameStop and AB Games Canada. As well as announcing this, Bandai Namco have also unveiled a new Coliseum mode and character. For all news and announcements, stay tuned to the Vita Lounge. And last one here, from me. Natural Doctrines deals up a card battling online mode. So Katakawa Games' RPG Natural Doctrine is due to release this week in Japan, and it will feature an online card battling game mode. In this game mode, players can create a deck of cards made up of the various monsters and creatures from Natural Doctrine's world. These cards will have the same skills, equipment, and status as those found in the single-player game. When creating your deck, you will need to take into consideration each card's size, cost, and Pluton amount. Once you've decided on the deck, you can search for a battle room where you'll take on a battle mission. By completing these missions, you will earn card points, which will enable you to acquire more cards. You can buy cards in bronze, silver, and gold packs. The higher the pack, the greater a chance you will unlock a rare card. You can also play this mode with a friend for some co-op card battling, each player having a mini deck at their disposal. Playing with a partner will also gain you a bonus amount of card points depending on your rank. So releasing in Japan on April 3rd, just 2 days from now. Be sure to check the Vita Lounge regularly for any news on a Western release for Natural Doctrine. Until then, there's some screenshots on the post. Check them out.
Nice. I'll have to definitely check that one out.
Yeah, you sound real interested there, Tyler.
So I was in the middle of a yawn, and I was like, no, he's done with the story.
It happens.
It does. All right, last bit of news. Joe Danger update. 2 games, 3 new characters. Hello Games just updated the US blog with news on their upcoming Joe Danger titles for the Vita. Originally released on the PlayStation 3, the game is a racing platformer hybrid, and Hello stated that the games are nearly finished and running at 60 frames per second on the Vita. They added that the game will have 84 levels, including the director's cut and laboratory stages, 25 characters to play as. Joe Danger 2 features 85 levels, including 15 from the Undead movie pack, a whopping 35 playable characters. Since the games have come from the PlayStation 3, any concerns about the control schemes have been addressed. They say, quote, "We've spent a long time tweaking the controls to feel great on Vita, and we think you'll like the results because they're really simple. First, we've added touch controls for the menus and the editor mode. This makes the games really easy to navigate, and in play, the only differences are circle now oh my gosh.
The only differences are that circle now tricks as well as punches, while triangle is a second trick button. That's not all for the new release, and we will also be getting Sackboy, Atois, and Iota as playable characters in the games. For a little bit more information, check out the blog. What do you make of the news? Are you excited for this, Kyle? Is this something? Do you like Joe Danger?
I don't know. I've never played Joe Danger before, but it looks interesting, especially with all that content coming with it. 2 games, so there's going to be a lot to play. But
yeah.
Then again, I have a huge backlog, so it's probably a little bit lower on my list than it should be.
Yeah, I played it on the PS3, and I got it for free with Plus back when it was free, and it was interesting, but I was just so busy with other stuff that it didn't grab my attention enough to come back to it. So
that's why Vita's awesome, because you can take it anywhere, so you get more time to come back to these games. That's why you got to release all the games on Vita, guys. Come on.
Yeah. Just if they would listen to you, Kyle.
I know.
Why don't you work at Sony?
I know.
All right. Well,
so Sony, get in touch. I'm waiting.
Yes.
Tyler too.
Yeah.
You can have him too.
We'll work together. We'll be awesome. We'll just sell thousands and thousands of Vitas.
We could. I believe we could.
All right. Well, that's all for the news. So why don't we head over to some of the listener mail for this week?
All right. Well, we've got a couple questions here from Twitter. First off, we got Liam Langan at Liam Hangover on Twitter. He asks, if one PlayStation Portable game could be remastered for Vita, what would you want it to be?
Ooh, I have a few, actually, that I would like. First off, I would have to say any of the Grand Theft Auto games, if those got remade in HD on the Vita, I would be a happy camper. I think another one that would be good, but I would more prefer the Grand Theft Auto one, obviously. But Monster Hunter Freedom Unite would be pretty badass. I'm sure a lot of people would go right back to that, and it would actually be a better Monster Hunter than what they're actually bringing. That's all I can think of.
My biggest one, I think, is something maybe not everyone will agree with, but I definitely had a hell of a lot of fun with it on PlayStation Portable, and that's SSX on Tour. I would love if they either remade SSX on Tour or did another SSX game for Vita, because the whole two sticks thing just goes perfect with it, and the original SSX on Tour for PlayStation Portable was just awesome. The soundtrack was awesome, the gameplay was awesome, even though we were limited to one stick. It was just the game I pretty much played probably the most on PlayStation Portable. I'd love to have that on Vita.
Nice. Yeah, that'd be pretty entertaining to have remade.
Hell yeah. All right, moving on to the next question. At Charzars asks, do you think it's a good idea to have PlayStation Now on TVs and mobile devices? I assume he's talking as opposed to and addition to PlayStation Portable and PlayStation Vita, and how it's coming to that. Is it a good idea? What do you think?
I think it's a decent idea. I mean, if someone doesn't have one of these systems and they've discovered PlayStation Now and they start playing the games and then they're like, wait a minute, I mean, if I'm playing it on my mobile device, this thing called the Vita has physical buttons. Why don't I just buy this? I already have my library of stuff I could just start playing and whatnot. And I'm assuming they would just make it to where your account could transfer over to any device. So they'd be like, all right, I can just continue playing my games on something that's better at playing these games. So I don't see it could hurt at all.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a good idea to make it so pervasive. It's a good idea as far as the market if you're trying to get, different people in and make sure that they can play their games wherever they want. But it might hurt Vita just a little bit just because of the fact that, people could be going around playing it on their phones and blah, blah, blah. Although I believe, if I'm not mistaken, even the TV and mobile devices, you need to have a DualShock controller hooked up to play. So it's a little bit bulky compared to a Vita, which, everything's right there. The control scheme might not be 100% perfect, but it's better than, carrying around a DualShock and trying to hold onto a phone while you're playing.
Agreed, yeah.
So do I think it's a good idea? Not so much.
Interesting. Yeah.
And our last question here. So John B. at JBOR asks, how many games do you plan on platinuming this year?
Oh, jeez. Well, I've been sucking at trying to get trophies right now. So if I get, let's go with, if I get 3 this year, I'll be happy.
3 is a good number if you're not really, going for trophies or you feel like you're sucking at trophies. 3 is a good number for the year. But I think I want to hit 20 by the end of the year, so I'm looking at 9 this year.
Nice.
I think only 1 so far this year, and that's Amazing Spider-Man, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, aren't you cool, Kyle?
Yeah, well, I think I just spend little bit more time on trophies and stuff like that than most people do, and it helps that I'm really close on like 8 games. So
yeah, yeah. There's a couple games that I'm really close that if I really spent some time on, like if I really wanted to, Persona 4, I could probably get that in like 1 more playthrough. But I already know how to play it, so it wouldn't take me forever. Just skip all the stories and all that storyline stuff and whatnot, and I could get the platinum in that, which I've always wanted to do. But
yeah, there's quite a few games that, just if you play them long enough, you're going to get the platinum. So
right.
There's definitely a couple of those like Tukiden that I'm probably going to go through and just destroy just from play. Yeah. But then, yeah, there's definitely a few too that I'm, dreading doing, but I'm definitely motivating myself to go for. So
yeah, awesome. Well, thanks for sending in your questions, guys. Remember, we do have an email. It is podcast@thevitalounge.net, so feel free to send us your emails, or if you want to keep contacting us via Twitter, do that too, whatever works for you. Next up, our game recommendation of the week is me, and I didn't think of one, but luckily I thought of one while Kyle was talking. So, since MLB 14 just came out today, if you're looking for a cheap PlayStation Vita baseball game, I would hit up MLB 13 because it's probably pretty cheap now that the new one's out. And I loved 13, so I'm really hoping I'll love 14. And yeah, just go grab it. If you don't have the money to grab 14 and you want to see what MLB The Show is like on the Vita, grab 13 or even 12 if you want to go way back. 12 is actually pretty good too, but 13 improves upon a lot of the problems that 12 had. So I'm hoping 14 improves upon the problems 13 had. That's how it should be.
Was 12 out on the Vita?
Yes, it was.
It was. I didn't even know that.
Yep, it was amazing.
Yeah. If you're in North America right now, MLB The Show 13 is $17.99, so it is a bit cheaper.
Nice. Yeah, so if you want to save some money, and I'm pretty sure your stuff transfers to 14. I could be wrong, so don't quote me. But hold on, let me check the case. I just read something. All right, here we go. I'm looking at the back of the case of MLB 14 right now. It says, never start over. Take your franchise and Road to the Show seasons to the future versions of the show. Okay, wait, so that might mean that from 14 on, you can transfer it over. So maybe you can't transfer 13 to 14. I think
you'll have to try it and let us know, Tyler.
I will have to try that out. So, yeah, MLB 13, the show, is my recommendation of the week. So go grab it if you like baseball. And we are out of here now. So, don't forget, you can check out all the stories that we talked about above and whatnot on thevitalounge.net. Don't forget to find us on Twitter. I'm at Mr. PS Vita Reviews. Kyle is at Teflon Tactics. Yuki is at Yuki_WR. And do you know Paul's? Is it just Paul Murphy? At Paul Murphy?
I believe it's at P Murphy 1978. I believe.
That sounds right. That sounds about right. So go follow him. Also, you can find us on Facebook. Just search the Vita Lounge. Don't forget to join our forum. It's up. It's running. It's been running for a while, so there's no excuse for you not to be in there. Also, don't forget to check out our YouTube channel we have, The Lounge Play. We need to get back into that. I've been slacking lately, and it sucks.
So if you have an issue, blame Tyler.
Yes, if you have an issue, blame me. But we definitely need to get back into that, and hopefully we can do that this weekend, possibly, if everything goes as planned. Other than that, enjoy your games, play some games. Let us know what games you bought this week. MLB's out, Ragnarok's out. Yay! Talk to you guys later.
Later, guys.